Nah, we ain't gonna start off with no song. We just gonna go straight into it. But we could just you can see in California,
California,
Hotel California.
Hotel California. I think it'd be better to do live and die in L.A.
Okay, Tupac.
But no, I'll save the bars for later.
Okay.
Got the champ back.
Former champ.
You always the champ.
Thank you.
Always.
The champ is here, as Jada Kiss would say. The champ is here. First time at the new studio.
Yeah.
Studio 239.
Nice studio.
Episode 45. We had to do it big. Bring back the champ. Politicking and Gyro Larry Loves. Sponsored by Becker Custom Builders in the audience. Shout out to our guy Blake. Proud sponsor. T Clinics USA.
Yep.
Shout out to Jeff Delaney, someone you're familiar with, as well as Naviva
One
Weight
of my
Loss.
sponsors also.
We're rocking the Make America Healthy Again shirts today. So shout out to Jeff Delaney. I know you saw him yesterday. Did a little podcast with a guy named Byron something.
Yeah, our next governor of Florida. Amazing individual. Person who just has common sense, conservative ideas. That's one of the reasons why I moved here to Florida. What DeSantis has done has led the pathway for Byron to continue doing it.
Absolutely.
And do it on a better level.
I think so. Take it to the next level.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's needed. This country is in some turmoil. People with all those terrorists and situations, they went from electric cars are a way to go to now everybody destroying the electric cars. It's just
funny how that works, huh?
It's just these people are deranged. It's one of those things that you just sit back and go, how ignorant are these people? But then you understand how 2020 and so many people got so fooled of what happened. I understand how stupid people are.
Yeah, and we'll get into that, champ. Just want to finish shouting our sponsors, Martin Law Firm. Shout out to Steve Martin, offices in Collier, Lee County, as well as Tampa. Of course, Lee Corp Homes, DTA Naples, our girl Tina Del Rosa, Tina D Agency, the premier person for insurance, taxes. Got a nice check here from Suarez. Actually, you give a shout out to our newest sponsor, since you're the unofficial partner.
Yeah, since I'm the unofficial partner of Suarez, y'all got to excuse me because I'm eating this great meal from Alder's Diner, which is also one of our sponsors, and gave me a meal. And I promise you, this vegetable omelet, it is to die for. But I'm not trying to die. And
no Larry Love plate today?
No. If you haven't noticed, well, I'll wait till another time. I'll tell you what was going on.
I get it.
But this law firm, I'm the unofficial partner of. They great. They phenomenal. And they good at what they do. They challenge anybody on the federal level, state level, and what have you. They represented J6ers and even more. If you have any type of problems, any type of legalities, please go see them and tell them Larry sent you. They'll do an amazing job, but I hope you don't have to see them in that RAM. So, yeah, go ahead and continue on.
Shout out to Mike Colombo as well. And then, of course, Salons Energy, Eric Anita Carter, over 30 years experience cutting hair in Naples, Florida. So thank you to our sponsors. And go ahead, Larry, bring in our very special guest for episode 45 now.
I watched this gentleman numerous times on TV. I was trying to catch him in the back alley somewhere so we can go ahead and square up. I called him a time or two, but, I let him make it. I felt bad for him, But anyway, he's a great individual. He do a lot for the community. He loves children. He loves his kid, a great husband, great father. He's loved America. He loved the Republican Party. He's everything that America represents. He really got it out of the mud from the bottom to the top, as Drake say. No further ado, man. My friend, my homeboy, my everything, the champ. He still is the champ to me. What's happening, Tito Ortiz?
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate it, man. Just working hard, at Tito's Cantina in Cape Coral. Opened about a year and 8 months ago. I just want to get back to the community. I had a huge business since through my career of 25 years of mixed martial arts. Owned about 5 companies until COVID came about in 2020. They all got shut down, but one was my clothing company. And I had enough in California. I got out. You know, DeSantis, what he did here for the schools and that non-woke agenda for my children were getting indoctrinated in California. I had to make sure that I protected my children. I came here after Hurricane Ian to watch a community come together at Matlacha in Cape Coral, but Matlacha, Pine Island, Northern Captiva. It was phenomenal. It gave me an opportunity to see and give me hope for this country. I was like, wow, people care this much about their community. This is the type of community I want to be in. And I was already moving to Florida. I mean, my wife looked on the East Coast. It really didn't fit in what our agenda wanted to do for our children. But when I got to Cape Coral, I was like, this is the place. It's growing quick. Everybody came together in the hardest times. And the safety with Sheriff Carmine, what he does with the sheriff, Cape PD, what they do. The schools, every school, every classroom, there's a camera that goes straight to the PD or to the sheriffs. Every street light, there's a camera that goes straight to the PD or the sheriffs. There's 2 officers in every school. Once again, safety for my children. Community, safety for my children, and no homeless encampments. Crime is a minimal. Of course, every city has crime, but it's at a minimal where it's, just minor stuff. But the PD is on top of it 100%. And I loved it. I was like, I fell in love automatically. So when I moved here 2.5 years ago, I've been happy since, man. I've kind of like regenerated my life. It's a happy thing where I don't have to carry a gun everywhere I go. And you're allowed to here in Florida, but I shouldn't have to.
Man, your hands are a weapon. Your hand's still a weapon, right?
Are they registered?
No, I don't need to be registered because I talk away at all the fights. I make sure that I tell people who I am and what I did and what I do for a living or what I did for a living. And most of the times, you got to say, let me buy you a drink. You're good.
Yeah.
You ever get a drunk customer at Tito's Cantina? Try to kind of
never.
No, never. No one challenge you.
No
like,
one.
I think I could take you one of those.
This hasn't happened at least 26 years. No one.
People are some fools, but they ain't
That's
that
what
much
I'm
of a
saying.
fool.
Well,
They realize how big I am.
Tequila in you, and
yeah, but I mean, when they realize how big I am, and I shake my hand or I walk in front of them, they're like, wow, you're actually a really big guy. And then once again, I did psychology in college, so if you could de-escalate the whole situation, that makes it work. And I break it down to them. It's like, what do you do for a living? They're like, well, I do construction. I go, cool. You get up at 5 in the morning. You got to be on site by 6:30. I go, hopefully you brush your teeth, put on your underwear, put on your work pants, put on your work boots, t-shirt, start the car, go to work. You work to what, maybe 6 p.m.? I go and check it out. I get up at maybe 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I go on a 2-mile run, come back. We put on gloves, shin pads, headgear, mouthpiece. We kick or punch each other for an hour and a half. Then I go back home, have another meal, come back, and I do wrestling jiu-jitsu, where we try to break each other's arms, legs, choke each other unconscious, take each other down. Then I go back, have a meal, come back, and I do my weight training. I go, do you want to show me how to build a house? I sure in the hell I want to show you how to fight. By the time I get to the point of I don't want to show you how to fight, they're like, what are you drinking? Let me buy you a drink. You sound like a really good guy. Once again, I'm not.
Sounds like Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse, de-escalating the situation.
And that's some of the stuff nice. That I got to be nice. I did a lot of security before I started fighting in Newport Beach. And I was known as a person to de-escalate everything.
Like security for
a nightclub.
Nightclub, really?
Yeah. I did that for a couple of years. And it was one of those situations I always told our group is like, never punch anybody. Raise your hand, and as a group, we'll come over. And if we have to stamp someone down and put them in a choke and put them outside and put them to sleep and lay them on their back and they wake up, they're outside pissing themselves, then they understand, they're like, wow, I was in the wrong.
Absolutely.
Like, de-escalating situation is the biggest thing. When you escalate it and make it worse, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, more than it should be.
Speaking of big hands, that watch, let's show off that watch. Wow.
Yeah, Rockwell. One of my sponsors is a 50 millimeter. Yep, this is my Make America Great Again.
Big watch, apparently.
Yeah. No, I love the watches. Great company. I've been with them since they've been apart. They're actually out of Utah. One of my friends, Rich from Rockwell, he's been hooking me up, and he gives me all my watches. And I don't want the money out of it. I want nice watches. I want big watch guys with big ass hands. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of regenerating your life, as you spoke a few minutes ago, and how much you fell in love with this area. Last time you was on the show, you spoke about something that was very dear to me. You gave your life to the Lord.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that. How did you come by?
I've always not even wanted to. I understood that I pretty much had to give my life to the Lord. And as a young kid, when I first started wrestling, I was a freshman in high school. My grandfather actually was a pastor in Hawaii, and he always spoke of the Lord. And I always went to churches, and I went to Catholics, I went to Christians. I mean, I even went to like a Mormon church. I mean, it was like I wanted to like see the whole circumference of everything, and everybody had the same idea. There's always someone greater, and I understood that of being a good man, having morals and values of my family, having morals and values of myself and my name. There's two things I have to rep for the rest of my life. That's my name and my word. And this last year, I got baptized at Cape Christian. I'm very thankful for Pastor Corey. Phenomenal pastor, and I've always gone to church as a kid growing up, and my parents never took me. I just went on my own because I was kind of lonely, and I wanted to just find a family. I wanted to find someone who cared about me, and I come to realize it was the Lord that cared about me, and he took care of me, and I'm very fortunate of it. And when I got baptized, it just felt like I had to give everything up to make sure that he understood as a tough kid coming up that had nothing. I didn't have a father. My father chose drugs over me. My mother separated away from my father when I was 13, and she sacrificed her life to give me a better future. And I was fortunate of learning that, because when I was 40, not before that, God, I was 38. I had my twin boys, and they were 3 years old, and I had to make the same sacrifice my mother had to make. I had to walk away from my ex because she had a drug problem, and she didn't want to get sober. So I took my kids. I got full custody of my children, and I had to be a single father for a full year. And I was very fortunate that God sent me an angel. And that was my wife, Amber Ortiz. And she came in and fulfilled those shoes as a mother. And God blesses you with some great things. He won't give you any more than you can handle. He won't give you more or less than you can handle.
He always on time.
And he's always on time in the right positions, the right time.
Man, that's crazy.
But it's just one of those things. Everything happens for a reason. I understand
Always.
it. As long as you're a good man. And, you know, you say your prayers. And as I grew up, always watching Hulk Hogan, was like, say your prayers, take your prayers, brother.
Take your vitamins.
Say your prayers, take your vitamins, brother.
Now, speaking of drugs and alcohol, you struggled with drugs and alcohol for a period of time, as I did. Blake, same thing. Can you talk about battling that addiction?
Well,
and what helped you
it
get
was
sober?
a really young age that I did that. I mean, and I got it pushed on me because I had 4 older brothers.
Okay.
You know, it was like, you better smoke this weed right here. I'm going to beat your ass type of thing. And I was at 5 years old.
At 5 years old, you smoked weed.
Yeah. Wow.
Where did it progress down to? Like from the type of drugs, substances?
Weed. I mean, we smoked weed all the way up to 13. Then I tried cocaine, and then, of course, drinking. I mean, I was young. I was 6 years old. I was pumping kegs at 6 years old at punk rock bands. We had concerts in our backyard. But I had no guidance. That was the problem. My parents didn't care. And I had it at such a young age that by the time I got into high school, weed was a normal thing. And I was like, all right, here's wrestling season. I got to stop. So I quit completely. And it would be all wrestling season. I would wrestle, and I'd wrestle my ass off. And then as soon as season got over in June, I would drink. But I would make sure that I would go to the tournaments that would be freestyle tournaments. And I'd have to ride my bike to school. And I'd get up, I'd be hungover, ride my bike. I was talking about this last night. It was funny. He says, I'd ride my bike to school, and the coach would be there because he had to do all the brackets for the tournaments. And I'd pass out in the back of his car. It was a 62 Impala. 62. I never forget it. And I knew he would smell alcohol on me because I'd be wrestling. Guys would be like, man, you smell like alcohol. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not even old enough to drink. Well, I'm kicking people's asses. That's all that matters. and this is wrestling. It's not fighting. This is wrestling. I mean, I didn't start fighting until I was 22. But those sacrifices that I did during that time made me a better wrestler. But the problems that I had, it came from my parents, and I didn't understand the addictive personality that I had.
Yeah.
It was either addicted to drugs, alcohol, attention, love, being around people. I mean, those the biggest thing for me was attention and love. Those are 2 things that I missed as a kid. I didn't have it. My mother loved me. I understand. She sacrificed everything for me. But it was just one of those things as having not having a father figure around me to hug me and grab me and say, I'm proud of you, son, during my wrestling career. Those are things that I missed out on. But I can't blame my father of it. And I understood that the things that he went, don't understand the things that he went through because I never walked in his shoes. I watched a movie probably about a year and a half ago now called The Shack, and it opened my eyes completely. My father passed away a year and a half ago. I watched this movie, and he passed away like 2 months later. I can't judge my father because I never walked in his shoes. So he went to get his ashes, and I had to go put his ashes in, Corona Del Mar Beach in California. And that was one of the beaches I grew up as a kid. And I poured his ashes in the ocean, and I said, I forgive you, Father. I had to forgive him because I didn't understand what he went through as a child. I didn't understand what type of father mentality he had when he was a child. So it helped me because he made me be what he wasn't. And that's to my children, my son Jacob, who's 22 years old right now at Arizona State University, criminal justice psychologist is his major. My twin boys, Jesse and Journey, who are 16 now, and they both wrestle at Ida Baker High School. But I have really understood what I didn't want to give to them. I want to make sure I hug them and I say, I'm proud of you, son. And even when they do bad, it's like, you're going to get through this. I mean, I just had a conversation with them a couple weeks ago, and one of them has a problem smoking weed in the bathroom at school. And I was talking to Byron yesterday about this, about how we have a zero tolerance at school for kids. So this stuff doesn't happen in schools because it's at every school, 100%, 100%. Yeah. When I was in school, they had zero tolerance. You got caught with that stuff, you're out. You're out. And I think they're giving too much freedom to these kids because the parents, there's a mother and a father that are working. That nuclear family is no longer together.
Right.
And I think the teachers are the ones being the parents, and they don't want to be parents. They want to be teachers.
Job,
and the officers are in the school, and they only have so many officers per school, which is 2, and they can only take care of so many kids. I mean, there's my school, or my son's schools, Ida Baker, they have, I believe, almost 2,700 kids there. But to watch every one of those kids, I think it just needs to be a breakdown of hopefully when Byron gets in, not hopefully, when Byron gets in as governor, that he's able to push this law enforcement or push just the rules in schools to make sure these kids have safety.
What is the consequences now if a high school kid gets caught with something like weed?
They go home for the day, and they got 2 days suspension.
Are they actually? I didn't know they was given a 2-day suspension.
They
usually just
2 days
come
suspension.
back.
They 2 days suspension. That's all they give. And to me, I'm just like, my kid took an ass whipping when he got home because he got caught actually with it in school. He came home and he got an ass whipping. I mean,
from Tito Ortiz.
I would give my kid an ass whipping.
That should be enough right there.
People want to try to call CPI, whatever you want. I'm a father. I'm trying to raise my kid the right way.
Bingo.
It's important to me because if kids want to do stupid shit, they're going to find out really quick. You got to have consequences behind the things they do. And once again, I'm not beating my child.
Right.
I'm giving him a consequence for the things that he did. And that is important. He learned. I mean, he learned super fast.
Just knowing that you're there waiting at home.
What's funny about this story here is that when he gets your age, he's going to tell that same story to everyone else.
Yep.
Because I done told that story about my mom. She beat me right in front of my classmates. I was 16. She made me on the blackboard. I was in class acting up, what have you. See, during that time, they allow parents to be parents. Wherever you act up at, you got it at. Now it's like it's against the law, against the rules to spank your child.
Well, my daughter one time tried to use that against me and said, if you spank me, I'm gonna call you. I said, here's the number, call him right now. Like
beat you even more.
And then it could take you and obviously calling her bluff, but they program these kids into thinking that way. Like if parents put hands on me, I can.
And then I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a difference of abuse and
obviously
making responsible
you mess
for
up,
their
you
action.
get smacked in the head. That's the way it was.
Yeah, I mean,
my case.
Then there's an opposite side of it where the father or the mother is an alcoholic and they just beat him all the time.
Yeah,
for no reason.
Right. Obviously,
I mean, that's a problem.
Right.
But if it's in a controlled environment where the child needs to understand that he has to pay for his consequences.
Do something wrong and you're out of line. Then.
I mean, it gets to a point where I took my kids' doors off the hinges. No cell phones, no Xbox.
That's the worst thing you could do too.
Take
away
shaving
a tablet
their head.
I
shave their head, take away all their nice clothes. I give them some ghetto ass shoes. ghetto ass pants, ghetto ass.
I thought I did the same thing. I did the same thing to myself.
Where does Tito Ortiz to get ghetto ass pants and ghetto ass shoes to put on his kids? That's what I want to know. Goodwill. Okay.
Go to
okay.
Goodwill. I mean, as
I know
a
if you
kid,
go to
I grew up,
MLK
those were my nice clothes.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid growing up, that was my nice clothes. We used to go to Goodwill and go bin dumping. Like you find out, like, oh yeah, these jeans look dope. I got these, and I'm getting these kids that, and they got some shoes. They're like coasters. They're like, yeah, these are ghetto shoes. Like, you better start acting right. But all of a sudden they realize it, and then they do. They pick up their game.
Appreciate things.
My son Journey, he has picked up his game. He went from being a D, C student, now he's a straight A student right now. And he's wrestling his ass off, and I'm so proud of him. My other son, Jesse, he's a mastermind, but his manipulation is even better. And
psychological.
He's super, super smart. He's an A student. Right now he has 3 Fs and 4 As. And the 3 Fs are like, dude, why are you doing that? He's like, well, I'll catch up to it. I'm like, no, you're not catching up to it. You better pick your ass up. So actually yesterday he got 2 of his Fs up to Cs. Within a week, I'm like, just apply yourself, son. Please just apply yourself.
It's consistent.
And when he does, it's easy for him. And he's in ace classes. Like he's he's too smart for his own good. And as they've grown up, I've always treated them like men. I never treat them like babies. I never treat them like little kids. I've always spoke to them. You know, I always did the goo goo gaga bullshit. I spoke to them how humans speak to each other, how a father speaks to a child. My son Journey, I remember when they were 7. I know they're a little younger. I think they were 5. They're still in their baby chairs or baby seats in the car. And we're rolling downtown Huntington Beach. And someone goes, hey, Tito. And my son Journey looks and goes, hey, Tito. I turn, I looked at him. I go, don't you dare ever call me Tito again. I'm your father. You better call me Dad. That never happened ever again from either of them. They know to call me Dad automatically. That's just respect value that's need to be heard for sure. Because there's so many families that are missing the father figure. So many kids are missing a father figure in their lives. And it's important that a lot of fathers need to step up, because once you have a child and bring them into this world, you got to be responsible for them. And it's not time to be selfish.
That is very true. But at the same time, just because the male is in the house, that don't mean he's accepting that father role. That's a big difference, because I done seen men in their house, but they're not fathering their children. They just there. And their kids just...
Yeah, and then once again, it comes down to being responsible for the child. You got to be responsible for them. You can't be selfish. Being unselfish, like I said, when I was talking about my wife, Amber, and this is not her biological children, but in her heart and her mind, that's her biological children. She's been with them since they've been 3.5. And
they her.
100%. And she cares that much, because when they mess around and get bad grades and stuff, she's like, what am I doing wrong? I'm like, babe, you're not doing nothing wrong. It's not you. Stop. Please stop. Because she takes it personally. She takes it very, very personally, because she works so hard. And I'm so proud of her, because she helped this family stay together. She helped me stay alive. Like, I'm fortunate. I had a point where it was just like, I was alone for a year, and I was like, what am I doing with twin boys? I like have everything in the world. And it's like, I don't want to lose what I have. It's like, I need someone to help me. And all of a sudden, by the graces of God, you know, he sent me an angel. And I'm fortunate, man. We've been together now for 13 years. And I'm happy. Everything's great. And yeah, we have our problems once in a while. That's every relationship.
Everyone.
Yeah. But we're able to talk it out.
Together too. I mean,
we work together at the restaurant. So we work together almost pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And when you move from California to here and you don't know anyone at all, I mean, she kind of just last week, she's like, babe, I'm really lonely. I'm like, come here, give me a hug. You're never lonely. I'm here for you always. She's like, but I need to find some friends. And she goes out, but she's kind of, she don't trust people. So she's kind of like really not standoffish. I think she's just more protectful of herself, careful who she surrounds herself with.
You have to be.
For me, it's easy. I mean, I get along with anybody. I mean, to a certain point. I mean, there's that circle, then there's that trust circle, then there's that safety, family, brotherhood circle. I mean, I have those values in myself. And I've been able to learn that because so many times I've been taken advantage of through my career, through friendships, that I got to kind of watch myself. But I can tell right off the bat now that who's my friend, who's not my friend, who's people that are just trying to get something out of me, or just somebody who wants to help and be a part of me. Those most are the best ones, the ones that are just like, how can I help you, instead of saying, hey, what can you do for me?
Talk to me about growing up in Huntington Beach, California.
Growing up in Huntington was great up to about 6 years old, and then my
Mhm.
mother and father fell into heroin addiction from my uncle, and we moved to Santa Ana, which is probably about 30 minutes inland from there, kind of a barrio area. And from 6 to 13, moving from motel to motel. A couple times living in cars, a couple times living in people's garages, a couple times living in a trailer park. It was tough because fishing is kind of what saved me. I got into gangs a little bit when I was 10, 11, 12, and 13. One of my friends got shot and killed right in front of me. And my mother didn't believe me. We went, and he's getting carried away in a body bag. That's when she left my father. Gave my father an ultimatum and said, either you get sober or I'm taking your son. And about a week later, she ended up getting with another guy and got married to him. And we left. And when we moved back to Huntington Beach, and life was different. Life was a lot different.
Mhm.
You know, as a freshman in high school, I always watched professional wrestling as a kid. I mean, I can remember this.
So what year, senior in high school, what year would that be?
I graduated in 93.
93,
So,
okay.
yeah.
So
And 80,
About 90.
87, we moved to back to Huntington Beach.
okay.
And then I did my junior high school, 87, 88, and 90, 87, 88, and then 89, I started my freshman year in high school.
So Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior,
Oh,
Bret
yeah.
Hart,
Yeah.
The stars of WWF back then.
Those Tito Santana, like
Yeah.
those
Jimmy
guys-
Superfly, Snuka,
Snuka, like-
Sting,
yeah,
Ric Flair, of course.
all those guys I watched, and it was just I saw them such a larger in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk in the wrestling room as a freshman, and I was like, "Where's the ring at?" Like, ring? I'm like, "Yeah, like WWF." I'm like, no, this is totally different. I go, "Can I pick a guy up and slam him?" He's like, "Actually, you get points for it." I was like, "Oh, I'm all in." And my first year, I actually had a 1.2 GPA as a freshman my first semester. And the coach goes, "Tito, you can't wrestle." I'm like, "What do you mean I can't wrestle?" Like, your GPA needs to be a 2.0 or better. 2.0 or better. I was like, "What do I need to do?" He goes, "You need to show up to class. You need to do your homework. You need to pay attention. You need to do good on your test." I was like, "Okay." I literally put my nose in the book, and I did not stop. Got my GP up to 2.3 by the second semester. I was able to wrestle. I was like, "I'm hooked." Hook, line, and sinker. Wrestled my butt off. Trained as hard as possible, and like every day was a challenge to me. And that's like in my blood. And it was funny because last night my wife's like, and I had to come here this morning. Last night after work, I'm like, "I'm gonna go play pool." She's like, "Babe, why are you gonna go play pool with all those knuckleheads?" I'm like, "Because I'm competitive. I like to compete. I'm a very competitive person." And this goes all the way down to my work and my business. I mean, my business, I walk in there, it's like a competition to me.
Mm-hmm.
Who can outwork who? And that's like one of the biggest things in a restaurant is employees are hard to find. Ones that want to work hard.
I ran restaurants for a while, yeah.
And so I'm doing when I first started for the first 195 days, I did all the work. I did everything.
And we've been in there, and you're running food,
You still do all the work, seems like.
making drinks.
I'll go down to cleaning the toilets. I mean,
I love your staff.
Yeah,
Your staff go hard.
Yep, our staff's going hard, but there's a few of them that are getting a little comfortable. And they get a little comfortable and get a little lazy.
Mhm.
And that's what I don't like, because then if I got to question a couple things, I'm like, but right now we have a good solid
Give a shout
8
out.
of them.
Give a shout out to a couple people you wanted on the
Of course,
staff.
Michelle Pina, he's our general manager, hardest working from Mexico City. He's lived here in Cape for 10 years. Phenomenal guy, hard worker. I don't have no second guesses on anything. Trevor, one of our yep, he's one of our bartenders.
He's awesome.
Really, really great guy. Former Marine, awesome guy. Madison, really cute girl, blonde, just very outgoing. Every table she's like on it every single time. Of course, one of our cooks, Carter, he's there. He works his butt off. Hilda, another one of our cooks, she's a phenomenal cook. She works her butt off. Gosh, who else is there? And it's one of those things that I always just really pay attention to all of them. And I question a few of them just because they get to a point where they're like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah." I'm like, "No, you need to do this. Please do this." And the biggest thing with me is menus. menus need to be wiped down
Yeah,
all
that's
the
a
time.
big one. Yeah.
I'm ADD about that. Like literally at the
Well,
bar, every single chair has to be exactly separated, exactly the same amount. Every chair needs to be wiped down. The tables need to be wiped down. I mean, I pay attention to every little detail. I mean, all the way up to the fans, making sure there's no dirt on the fans. Like I pay attention to details so much that people care about it. They see you're one of the first owners I see in here doing the work that you do. I'm like,
I know.
because
I
I
was
care.
like, man, you working hard.
Yeah, we just got an award last week or 2 weeks ago from best working business in Florida, or not Florida, in Cape Coral. We got #1. There's like a few others.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked. I was happy about it. So we're gonna get an award of it. And, the city manager to come in. We're gonna do a little presentation and kind of just give some love out to
Well-deserved.
I know you say
all
you
the workers.
you competitive, like, so I remember I was working when I had came from law school. I was working at Schuler's, and so like our GM always had like competitions, you know, like who can get the most whatever, or
Big
the
sales or
the
specials.
thank yous,
Yeah.
or people come in and ask for anybody. Do you have any type of competitions you do with any of your workers?
That's a great question. man.
Yeah, for best sells, whoever does best sells, whoever gets the most attention on Yelp or Google review. We just starting this right now. We just
Okay,
started this.
cool.
And one other hard worker I got to give a shout out to is Alisa. She's a phenomenal bartender. She works her butt off. Is actually enrolled in the Navy, and
Oh, you
she's
got 2 military bartenders.
military people. They do the work the right way. They do it how I want it.
Detail.
They do it
Surprise,
detail
surprise.
oriented. They're yes sir, yes ma'am. How can I help you? Welcome. I want it to feel like a family environment, and to give these people the jobs like this, I just want them to think about. I'm here to make money. I want them to be there to make people happy. That's my important thing, and that says a lot about my character because my name's on the front door, and I'm the one being there doing the work. And for the first 195 days that I worked, I was there every single day from closing to the shut or opening to the shut. And it was a lot of work. My wife called my partner and said, can I have my husband back, please?
You know, I got to say, man, every time I go there, like, I say, you know what? I don't even have to call your phone. I said, I'm just going to the restaurant. You're there. I never known for you not to be there.
Yeah. Well, Sunday, Mondays, actually, I'm not there now. So I'm actually able to.
Sunday to Sabbath day. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to take the Sabbath day now.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, my Sunday, of course, we got church. Just as long as I'm not working too hard on Saturday, because we have fight nights there. We do all UFC fight nights and pay-per-views at Tito's Cantina. But we do well for those. People love to come and see it. We just started a new raffle where we give Tito's Cantina World Championship belt for the final fight. We do gifts prior to that for the 4 fights prior. So it just makes it interesting for the crowd. You know, kind of people got to get involved. And it's a fun night. It's a good experience. And it's not just an experience. You know, the food there is authentic Mexican food. Real Mexican food.
No carnitas.
No, people come from Cali and they're like, you know, you brought it. Like, thank you for bringing this because we've been waiting for something like this. And not to spit on any other Mexican restaurant in Cape Coral, but I would go food battle against any one of them, and I guarantee you we would smoke all of them.
Yeah, you probably win it. You win it. You win it in Cape Coral.
Yeah.
But you have to come on out east to Immokalee. You know,
Immokalee, there's a couple that are really good because actually a couple of those guys came and ate at my place like, Tito, this
If you
is
got
fire.
the seal approved from someone from Immokalee,
Yeah,
then
but
you know you're official.
Yeah, you know that's my hometown. So and
there's
your
one in
carnitas,
Immokalee right before the casino that's actually really good.
that's El Taquito.
El Taquito.
That's El Taquito 1.
Yep, that one's.
They official.
That's
So he came to my place and he was telling me about it. So when I went to Immokalee, I had to stop by.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
I always say if they're not speaking nothing but Spanish in the back, I don't want to eat from them.
Yeah,
You got to speak nothing but Spanish.
yeah.
That's how I know you official.
That's my cooks. Same.
That's why it's so good.
Yeah, for sure.
Any progress in the Dana White kind of standoff? I know.
There's no standoff anymore. Actually,
No, okay.
I
I was the standoff is a poor choice of words, but I know.
I actually got a call a week ago.
Mhm.
I'm actually going to Vegas on the 17th. I'll be
Okay.
there for 3 days. They're doing rivals, me and Chuck. So for them
You
to
and
call
Chuck
and
Liddell.
reach out to me, I was like,
Cool.
That's
all right, cool.
That's a
Maybe
big-
stuff's kosher now. So this is
that's
a
a
big step.
big step,
I
especially
mean,
when
to
we
be
talked
be a part of the UFC again.
That's
put a smile
God
on my-
showing favor.
Yes,
That's
and
God
I've
showing
been
favor.
nothing but good. I don't talk about
That's it.
Dana.
You've taken the high road.
It's behind me. I don't look in the rearview mirror. I look in the windshield, look ahead of myself. And I'm thankful. I'm happy they gave me a call, and now they're a part of WWE, so they see the what I'm able to bring to the table.
The entertainment aspect of it. Yeah.
And I'm thankful. I was put a smile on my face. I got a call. I was like, okay, so they still do care. I mean, because I watch all the UFCs. I had never seen the highlights or nothing at all. I'm like, they're trying to forget about me. They're trying to erase me. But
you can't.
it gets in my own mind because, I mean, once again, it's just I did so much for that business, and to get kind of kicked in the face by Dan the way he has over the years. And I had to come to a point where saying, you know what, I can sit there and battle back and forth with this guy, and it's not a pissing contest. Should never be a pissing contest against him because I'm going to lose every time. I did some stupid stuff when I was younger because just the involvements and the people that are around me. And I made some bad decisions. And as I grow up and I get mature and I understand that, you know, I did make some bad decisions, and it's behind me now. And I don't forget it. I remember it, and not to do it again, and making sure that I make the right business decisions for the future of myself and my family, and the people I surround myself with, and just, you know, kind of just do the right thing. It's important.
What'd you think of the last UFC fight with Trump and Byron walking out with?
That was
How cool was that?
awesome. Every time they walk out on the UFC, people just blow up. And being in Miami and then blowing up like that, I was like, yep, Miami just turned red. It's nice. And once again, it's kind of crazy because as growing up as a kid, you know, there's always a color versus a color. It was blue and red, Crips versus the Bloods. And that's what it seems like the Democrat versus the Republicans is like the Crips versus the Bloods. But it's really not. It's the far left, and then there's the far right, and then there's the people in the middle who are the conservatives. And it don't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, or Libertarian. It's really, if you're an American, you care about the future of this country. You care about where the taxes are going. You care about who's getting paid that shouldn't be getting paid, where our tax money's going. That's when you start caring about the country, and that's what's important. And what's happening, what Trump has been doing so far with Elon Musk, people are hating Elon Musk for finding their money going to other countries. Tell me one country in this world that gives to America. Taxes. 0. Not one country gives to us. We give to everybody else. Why have we become a, now we're number 2 because China's a superpower. We're becoming number 2, but we're still giving billions to other countries for stupid things. And I'm not even saying stupid things that are unnecessary. It blows my mind because I paid so much of this government as a fighter or entertainer or whatever you want to call it, you know, up to $10.5 million through my career. And to see that money go to other countries, I mean, I thought it was supposed to fix our roads. I thought it was supposed to help our education. I thought it was help the future of this country. Now we finally have a president here that is going to make those things happen and have someone make them responsible for the actions that the government, that the Congress or the senators, the people that have been in here for 40, 50 years, it's just now the consequences are going to be laying out. In this next 8 months, slowly and surely, just watch the good things are going to happen. I'm happy. And with RFK being in and trying to make American healthy again, these kids, they don't understand what they're eating. They don't understand what they're digesting every day. You know, I see it's even at Ida Baker, they have a vending machine and there's like Takis and chips. And I'm like, why don't you like put healthy stuff in there? The soda machine is like Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola. It's like, why don't you put like waters and like something that's going to hydrate a kid instead of dehydrating them with all the sugars and glucose that's in that stuff. But it's a pushback because I get it. It's about money. And pharma's another huge one.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
It's like you got to tippy toe around that stuff because if not, you get banned. I mean, I lost my first social media, Tito Ortiz 1999 on Instagram, and I had 450,000 followers. And I lost it because I was speaking the truth. And during COVID situation, I went out in California. So I had to rebuild it. So anybody that's our listeners, and you're on Instagram, it's Tito Ortiz IG, and I'm trying to rebuild it. And I get to a point right now that I'm still shadow banned where I've had 150 or 120,000 over the last year and a half.
Speaking of which, the last time you were on, they got flagged by YouTube when you came on our show. So yeah,
they if I'm lying, please, listeners, please.
Well, the truth
write
sometimes
in,
that's what people are most afraid of.
Write in and tell me what I'm lying about. Please tell me what I'm lying about. Please educate me. I will apologize. I mean, if I'm saying something wrong that's incorrect, I will apologize and I will correct myself 100%.
And it's not even so much so you're giving your opinion a lot of times.
Welcome to America.
Welcome to America, right?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you have different viewpoints?
And that's one of the biggest things is be able to have a discussion or a debate about something.
Yeah.
Open discussion.
Yeah, God forbid.
I'm wrong, okay?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you're right. All right, let's talk about it. You're wrong, okay? Then we'll have a different decision, a different idea than you do. Well, let's talk about it, and hopefully we could be kosher and come to a decision that's right.
We meet in the middle. And talk about the rivalry with Chuck Liddell, because I know.
So that was a big
fierce
fabrication. And I'm saying this because this is honest truth.
Okay.
We got pushed into something that shouldn't have happened in the very beginning. If we were going to compete against each other, I mean, the first time we fought each other, I made $150,000. They made up to 30 to 40 million.
Mm-hmm.
To make 150 grand of 30, 40 million, percentage of that is what? 1.8%.
That's not even.
End of the day, if I was going to fight my friend and people say that we weren't friends, watch the fight when he beat Kevin Randleman and him jump into my arms. That's a friendship. He came to my house. I stayed at his house.
Mm-hmm.
And I see interviews of him saying, yeah, he made me sleep on his couch. Like, we had no money. How am I going to pay for a hotel if we don't have no money, dude? I mean, and at that point, I drove. We went to go train. I mean, that's how it was. Fight number 2 was a lot different. Fight number 2, it was, I understood that we weren't friends. I understood that we had to fight. I understood that I wanted to be the world champion. And at that time, I was in a bad relationship. UFC sent me to Miami to go do the Latin ESPY Awards on a dry run. Listeners, dry run actually is you go to a place and you do nothing. So I'm in the middle of camp and I'm 3 weeks out from camp.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me to go do this. And to me, I'm like, I'm doing promotion for the fight. Cool. I'm going to go do this. Went and did it. And I did nothing. I sat in the audience. I'm like, all right, I thought I was supposed to present an award. Like, oh, no, we're skipping it. I'm like, these fucking guys, they got me. On the way back on the flight, as soon as I got back to my house, I got sick from being on the flight. I got flu. Fought, lost to Chuck. They stopped the fight in the second round. And I felt that emptiness of like, fucking guys got me. They ran me dry. Yeah. That's fine. Ended up finishing my career with UFC. 3 years later, after I finished with Bellator, and I was retired at the time, I was like, all right, I'm laying my gloves up. I don't want to fight anymore. I still had a lot of fight left in me, but at that time, I had to get another neck surgery. I was like, all right, I'm going to be done. And then Chuck calls me out on the internet saying, I want to fight Tito Ortiz. We're fighting Golden Boy promotion with Oscar De La Hoya. If you're man enough, step up. I'm like, okay, that's all you got to say, kid. I'm all in. And I trained for 20 weeks for that camp. I put everything. I had a great relationship with my wife now, Amber. She was my support. My kids are taken care of. I have nothing to worry about. I had a great training camp. For 20 weeks, I busted my ass. That fight lasted 4 minutes and 48 seconds. I knocked him out, put him flat on the mat, and I was going to wrestle him. I was going to punch him. So I'm going to touch his face. And at that time, I was sparring some big guys.
Anger.
Yeah, it was anger because it was just one of the things I had to prove something.
Uh-huh.
And people were like, why are you fighting an old man for? I'm like, wait, hold on a second, time out. He called me out. I was retired. He called me out and said, don't be a pussy, you better show up. I'm like, okay, we'll see. And I remember him hitting pads like 3 days before the fight. He was hitting pads and he looked like shit. And I was like, I sat and I watched. I got up probably about 5 minutes in. I got up and I went, you bring that to the fight, I'm knocking you out in the first round. Everybody looked at me. I was like, yeah, bro, you're messing with a different animal. I go, this ain't about friendship anymore. I go, I'm going to smash you. Fight comes out. I don't even think he touched me with a punch. I put him shit on his back. And it was, once again, and all of a sudden it went from Chuck's going to knock out Tito. Tito better show up for the fight. To all of a sudden, Chuck's too old. He should have never fought. He should never been there. I was like, I've been trying to say this from the very beginning. He should never came out and fought. You guys, I'm like, this is easy money for me. This is like, give me the check. That's fine.
Right.
Which was the same amount of money that I made for the very first fight that I fought against him, which was nothing. And De La Hoya just, he didn't understand marketing. He didn't understand the pay-per-view role model of how doing it right, because he worked with HBO boxing before. HBO boxing, he did everything. He never did it himself. And so I kind of got thrown a bone, but at the same time, it wasn't about the money at that time. It was more about my pride. It was more about the person that I am. And I was willing to sacrifice everything. And this is coming after having neck surgery too. And was at that time I had T3, T2, T2, T1, T1, C7 disc replacement in my neck. And I came back, but once again, that gave me an opportunity for my body to react the right way, where at my age at that time, I was 44, and I felt like I was 34. It was good because it regenerated my whole body. Like it gave me another purpose.
Favor isn't fair.
Yeah.
And real quick, I don't want to spend too much time. The guy, Chael Sonnen?
Chael Sonnen.
That guy seems like a punk.
Everybody watch him. That guy's nothing but a mouth. He's never done anything at all. And he said some shit about me, and I take it very, very personal. We talk about a person's family. We talk about a person's kids. I take that very personal. When I fought him, I choked him in 2.5 minutes. He came to my dressing room. He goes, "Are we good now?" I go, "We're good when you go out there and the post press conference and you apologize to me." He goes, "Well, I'm not sure if I can do that." Well, then we ain't fucking friends. Ain't doing it.
He said some real sucker shit, it seemed like. I mean,
and he's always been like that. And, I get it.
He's trying to promote
he's a salesman. He's a car salesman, man. And people who believe in him is just, I understand how ignorant people are. I understand how uneducated people are when they listen to things they think is the truth. But at the same time, it's just like, it's behind me now. I still dislike the man. I don't like him.
I don't blame you just going back and researching.
And this goes back to, like I said, after the fight, when I said, "Here's your opportunity. You go and you apologize. We're cool. Until that time comes, we ain't cool." And if I still see him in public, if I see him at all, I'm spit on him. I don't give a shit. I go to jail. I don't care. I just dislike the guy. I don't like the guy. And I'm all about respect and values to myself, man. You got to carry some class. And with him, I think I'll drop all the class.
Talk about a man family.
Yeah. That was the biggest thing, talking about my kids. And this is after the fight was already done. This is after he said that, "Are we good?" And he still continued to talk about my kids. I was like, I'm not okay with this right now. I'm not okay with this at all. And there's been a couple times that we made pass. Actually, I think only one time we made pass. And I looked at him, and motherfucker, you better stay your distance right now. He like a little girl, like kind of scared, and took his head away. But like I say, he has big platforms with ESPN, with UFC, because he's an intelligent guy. He talks well. He knows how to sell a fight. He knows how to sell any product or any promotion that he's trying to do. He does a good job. I got to give that to him. But at the same time, the guy's full of shit.
Where would you rate Conor McGregor on the all-time UFC list, not just in terms of fighting, but the entertainment and what he's brought to the table?
He'd be number one.
Yeah,
I think he would be number one.
Yeah,
just because he did it so well.
Yeah,
he understood the game. He did what I did back in the 2000s. But he had such a huge platform to do what he did, and for him to fight Mayweather the way he did, I give him respect. I give the guy complete respect, and he continues doing it. To have a whole country behind him, and most of the United States behind him, most of the whole world behind him, it's pretty cool. But he does some stupid things.
You carry his whiskey?
No, we don't carry proper. No, we don't. It's not good whiskey. I don't know. Yeah, he did well for himself. Like I said, I haven't want to talk bad about him at all. But
you just gave him the ultimate compliment. You said you'd put him number one in the UFC.
I really, really think that he's done a phenomenal business acumen of what he wanted to do for his business. I respect the man.
And so real quick before we roll into rapid fire, I know you kind of did it last time, but for the people who didn't watch last time, who would you put on the Mount Rushmore for UFC guys?
There's 2 eras of it now. I mean, it's a different.
So it's an all-time list, though. So
all-time list. John Jones got to be on. John Jones got to be on there.
Is he that good? Because when I be watching him, it don't look like
because he's very methodical when he does stuff. He's very not slow. He picks his points. When he picks his points, he does damage, and he's long, really long, really long, and accurate. Very accurate in the things he does.
Okay.
Magomedov, or is it Khabib?
Khabib, really? Put Khabib up?
I put Khabib up there because he was untouchable. No one ever got close against him. Royce Gracie, of course.
Yeah. Yourself?
At this point, because of Jones, I would give Jones my 205 spot because he's one of the best. And I'd say George St. Pierre.
I was just gonna say GSP. Yeah,
GSP.
That guy was a
He
machine.
was a machine. A guy who never wrestled before ever and never wrestled in college. To have his wrestling experience that he did and the striking he did, I got to give him respect.
He was like the total package. It seems like he was a creation of a UFC fighter.
As a UFC fighter, that's a Mount Rushmore for me.
Okay.
As fighters, I mean, you want to do Mount Rushmore of like total of everything of life, of everything that's thrown in front of them, as men, as fighters, of everything. The names would change for sure.
Since you know this sport extremely well, hands, I mean, from the bottom to the top. One of my friends and hometown heroes who fought UFC as well. But I don't know how much you follow like every class, but where would you rank Vince St. Preux?
St. Preux, top 15. Top 15 light heavyweight, top 15.
Damn, he's really that good.
Yeah, he's pretty decent. He's a big guy though too. He's a big guy. A lot of guys light heavyweight like myself, Chuck, Forrest Griffin, St. Preux, they're bigger guys. That's why. I mean, when you're 6'2" and over, that's a pretty big guy for 205.
He was playing football. He had a football scholarship at the University of Tennessee. Yeah. So he played a couple of years, and he was like, he fell in love with UFC, he fell in love with fighting, and that's
why I put him on that rank, just because he never fought before, and he came in and he actually knocked some guys unconscious. Like he had some hands on him. It was respectful.
Growing up in the hood, you got to fight all the time.
Yeah,
it's just
sure.
natural.
Is there one fight in your career that you walked into where you were like, this is going to be really, really tough? Like maybe had a little doubt in yourself?
Oh, there's a lot of fights you have doubt.
But there's like one standout, like where I'm going against a real wrecking ball. If anything,
I think my
sticks
first world title I fought for Vanderlei Silva.
Okay.
Because he was smashing people in Japan. And two of the wrestlers he fought, he knocked them out unconscious. And at that time, I was only in the sport for a year and a half. And literally did jiu-jitsu for a year and a half, did kickbox for a year and a half, did box for a year and a half. But I mean, I had 7 years of wrestling. I was like, okay, what did I get myself into? I was like, but it came to a point by the time I walked inside the cage, I was like, do or die right now. Do or die.
Me or you?
Who's gonna get your hand raised? And right now, just in my mind, if I don't stop moving, I'm gonna win. And I did stop moving. I kept getting the takedown. I kept smashing him. Got to a point where I dropped him with the right hand. He dropped me with the right hand. It was a great fight. I mean, it was more of a wrestling match because he was a striker, and I just had to make sure I out wrestled him in positions, and I did. But I remember coming back on the airplane from Japan to LA, and one of the ladies was like, "Oh, you have a black eye. Are you okay?" Well, yeah, I just won the world title. I had the world title on my waist. And she goes, "You must have fought that guy over there, huh?" Well, yeah.
Y'all was on the same plane.
Yeah, we're on the same plane. He's all, "You won then, huh?" I go, "Yeah, that's why he looks like that." Because you don't look that bad. I go, "Okay, good, thank you."
Are you ready to roll into rapid fire?
Rapid fire.
I got some guest rapid fire questions today too. So
cool.
Some of them I'm not quite sure. So okay, I'll start. The Circle OC or Perks, PERQS. I don't know what that means.
Yep, Perks is actually a little pub.
Okay.
Yeah. I say Perks because they've been there since I've been a kid. I mean, they've been there since I was born. And that's like an OG little pub there.
They said you would know. They said, someone asked, would you rather fight a MMA pro or a SEAL Team 6 operator?
SEAL Team 6 operator.
You'd rather fight a SEAL Team 6 operator?
100%.
Favorite heavy metal group of all time?
Korn.
Joe Rogan versus Dana White. Who wins in a UFC match?
That's a good one. That's actually a really good fight.
There's some good ones on here.
I think Joe Rogan, if it was an MMA fight, I think Joe Rogan, because his jiu-jitsu is good, his kickboxing is good, Dana's boxing is really good. But I would say Joe Rogan.
And these get hard here, so conservative Ant or Carmine?
Carmine, my boy.
Deputy, honorary deputy, right?
Yes, honorary deputy. He's a good man, a really, really good man, doing a good job for this community, for this county. I'm very thankful that he's here. You know, I know he's been attacked a few times, But at the end of the day, you know, God's good, and He'll protect him, and He's protecting us. And I'm very thankful for having him for this community.
Ron DeSantis for 8 years or Byron Donalds for 8 years?
Byron Donald. I mean, DeSantis already showed what he can do.
Yeah.
I'm happy it's time for him to step up.
I guess the question was, would you rather have DeSantis for 8 more years or 8 years of Governor Donalds?
I say Donalds because I think he would do a lot more change for this state. And not to throw anything against DeSantis, he's done a phenomenal job. But I think him being underneath the Trump administration, I think he'd help a lot more too.
For me, I'll throw a little curveball, tough one in there for the congressional 19th seat. Let's say Carmine, Madison Cawthron, and Larry Love all ran. Who wins?
God, Larry and Carmine, you guys have some problems.
See you navigate through this one, champ.
That makes it personal now.
That would be a heck of a
You know, I'm always betting on myself.
bet on what?
Yeah, I
Bet on what?
I mean, I bet on myself to win now.
yeah.
Bet on black.
If Larry wants to do the hard work, and like I say, people understand being in politics is the most unselfish thing in the world you can ever do, and it's the hardest thing in the world you can ever do because you can't please every single person. I understood that when I got city council in Huntington Beach. I couldn't please everybody. And when I would disagree with somebody, I'd get attacked. And then when I put my kids on the news saying I'm not being a good father because I don't put them in a mask, I was like, this is some bullshit right here. No, seriously.
I give myself the advantage to that because I already worked the district. And so I know how to maneuver and everything else. And that
You already know who
me.
I'm going with.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I'll give it to you. Just because you have other pulls too. So it's not what you know to a certain point. And this, yes, it is what you know, but it's who you know also.
It's not
you got a
what
resource. It's a resource. What resources you can pull in?
not what you know, it's what you can prove. Tito Ortiz as mayor or Tito Ortiz as state rep?
0. I'm
Okay.
out.
And then I'll get to mine real quick. There's a lot of good ones in here, but if you can have a rematch, we got to keep it quick. If you could have a rematch with anybody in the world, who would it be?
Rematch. Anybody in the world who could it be? Chael Sonnen.
Who's that?
Chael Sonnen.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to choke him this time. I'm going to beat the shit out of him for 3 rounds.
All right. Let's roll into ours. Hugh Hefner or Larry Flint?
Hugh Hef.
West Side Connection or Dog Pound?
West Side.
Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society? Seemed to be a 50-50 split so far on the show.
Yeah.
might have
boy.
the tiebreaker.
Boys in the Hood. Yeah. Boys in
You
the
hear that, Blake?
Yeah, that was some life learning lessons that I learned when it first came out too. And at that time, I was a little older, but still, I was learning from watching that. I was like, I related to so much of those things. I mean, I didn't have a father figure, so it made me feel what a father should be, and I learned a lot of things from that. And when it came to a kid having an opportunity of the world and being around bad people, if the people you surround yourself with is who you become, it made me a lot of decisions in my life of doing that. Because when I was in 11th grade, which is my junior year, I was in wrestling, and 2 of my friends I used to hang out with, they asked me to come do a deal with them. They give me $300, and I had wrestling. I couldn't do it, so I didn't go. Both of them got busted with $1 million worth of speed, 4 bulletproof vests, 4 assault rifles, and DEA and ATF got them, and they both did 20 years in prison.
Nice.
And thank God for wrestling that I was on with them.
Let's keep it wrestling theme. Bret Hart or Ric Flair?
Ric Flair.
Sting or Ultimate Warrior?
Ultimate Warrior.
Roscoe's or Pink's?
Whew. Roscoe's Chicken, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I've been there a bunch of times.
Yeah, I like Roscoe's myself.
Yeah, that's good.
Chronic or Doggy Style? Better album.
Chronic. All day.
Agree. Commando or Rambo?
Rambo.
Bloodsport or Lionheart?
Bloodsport.
You see how he said?
Yeah.
I couldn't really find another movie to kind of compare to Bloodsport. How about Action Jackson or Roadhouse?
Action Jackson was good. Roadhouse was good too. I'd say Roadhouse because he gave that love story in there. I like that because it just shows how a guy could be so vicious but be very passionate and careful and like loving to another person. That's my mentality. A Roadhouse. That's kind of a person I am. I'm not an aggressive person. I don't like to fight. I just did it because I was really good at it. I'm very competitive in everything I do. I'm a loving person. I take care of my people that are around me, and I care about it. Like I say, that's important for my name of who I am and what I stand for. You know, people see me as a Huntington Beach bad boy. That was an image that I uphold for UFC. And at the end of the day, it was just, I want to provide for my family. I want to give my kids everything I never had. And I was able to do that through financially benefiting from being a fighter. But it taught me a lot of business lessons. You know, I got a master's in promotion through UFC. I've been with them for 16 years. So it helped a lot. It helped a lot for me, just from the mentality and the business moniker that I'm able to push into of having Tito's Cantina now. You know, I'm going to end up doing expanding and doing other businesses also. So as time comes and I get some investors to start opening other places, maybe we'll come here to Naples. That'd be something kind of cool.
I think Naples would love that, and I think maybe 239 Live should come to Tito's Cantina to do a morning live show.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
It'll do.
You sponsor it?
Do well, yeah.
Do well
Sponsor
here,
it?
for sure. That'd be
Okay.
good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Becker Custom Builders 239 Live from Tito's Cantina. I like the sound of that.
I like the sound of that too.
Okay, let's make it happen. Champ, thank you for making time for us. I know you're a busy guy.
No, all good.
Always
I appreciate
return
it.
texts and phone calls, and
Yep.
we appreciate it. I don't know if you had anything else, Larry, but
Man, it's just always good.
Always
You always
good.
answer the bell.
Always.
And vice versa. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Thank you.
For sure. No.
No doubt.
Yeah, it becomes a family, so I appreciate it, boys. Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Champ.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We got to take our pictures.
Pictures.